So guys, whenever there are questions, just feel free to unmute yourself or to just write it down in the chat box. Yeah, today, to be honest, was a quite interesting trading day. It was super aggressive, I would say. So very liquidity based, 100%. So let me great. So we can start. So yeah, basically, like I said, very liquidity based, a lot of movements, and that's where it is very important to also understand what's going on right now here on the charts, right? So to really have a perspective to all the time frames, where are we right now? What can we expect and so on? I mean, if you just look on the gold trade from today, like I was expecting price to go short in the first place from this area here. Then I will show you why we didn't have any kind of trade confirmations. Let's just start with gold first, and then we're going to go over GBP/USD as well. Okay, the thing is, usually I only trade GBP/USD, but today, if I'm honest, the reason why I traded gold was because I just had a look on gold. It made a lot of sense on what to expect, and then I just capitalize on that one movement. So gold was also super fast, as you can see here. Yeah, so let's just have a look on the higher time frame first. Let's go here. Yeah, so basically I did not even had a look, or I didn't even look too much right now on the higher time frame, like 4-hour, daily, weekly, and so on. I mean, if you check that here on gold, you will be very fast lost. You see, it's just in this type of ranging market right now. On the 4 hours, the same thing, right? So it looks like we have no chance to even consider any type of trades in such a situation. But I personally do not really care about that, because price will at the end do what? Just follow imbalances and liquidity. I mean, if we just have a look on what happened here, you see, for instance, you have this high, okay? It's respected. Then this one got taken out. This one did take out this. This one was taken here. This one was taken here. Future, then imbalance. So I think that the majority are going to lose here the patience with gold. So it's definitely not a pair which I recommend for everybody to trade, because it's super liquidity based. So if I compare right now, for instance, GBP/USD with EUR/USD, then I also would say EUR/USD is not that liquidity based. So GU is moving faster, right? More aggressive movements compared right now to EU. Gold is again differently. Gold also moves like crazy. So people who are trading like standard SMC kind of thing will have probably more success with EU compared than having it with gold or GU, because GU really is like, it needs liquidity, it sweeps the liquidity, and then boom, it goes. EU sweeps the liquidity, but still gives you like that M1 break of structure very often and all these things. And that's exactly why more SMC traders do like EU. That's why I personally I switched more to GU, and also I'm trying to have a look sometimes on gold, because it's like super liquidity based. So gold is like something which, if I compare right now my knowledge to what I had like a few years ago, I had no clue what to do in gold, whether I was like immediately in profits or I was straight in very big losses, because gold is just moving, you know, and it will not return that fast. And sometimes, I mean, especially in gold, and I realized it last time when I trade gold, is like, if I don't know where to exit my trades, then I'm very lost, because price will go straight against my entry as soon as it reaches a certain level. So I'm going to show you this right now, like what happened today, because today, same kind of thing, I closed it, then of course it made it a little bit lower and so on, but afterwards just went totally against me in just a couple of minutes. And that's actually the beauty in gold. but at the same time, it's super scary. So you definitely need to have like very good knowledge about strategy if you want to trade gold, from my point of view, because it's like also me. I still prefer GU, because in GU you can have a little bit more time to decide and so on. If you don't pick it immediately, it's not that bad. On gold, it's like that. If you just like get into it and you're wrong, you're super wrong. So you need to close as soon as possible. You need to have good risk management. You don't need to, like, I don't know, play too much with gold, because it will just kill you. Can you explain entry model when you exactly enter? What patterns are you looking for? Sure, bro. But it's in the course anyway. So make sure to check that one first if you're a new member here. So let's have a look then on the M15 on gold from today. So for me, very important is like always to see my Asia session. So the indicators, like the first things where I'm going to look when we have, like right now, 50 minutes before the Frankfurt. That's when I start looking at the charts. I'm here to make up my analysis, make up my bias for the day. Okay. So how you do with risk by gold, bro? There is like Steno. That's what I like to use. That one app is, I use it today because it's a long time that I trade gold. So I also needed to use that one. What's indicator called, bro? It's in the Discord. Please, all these newbies questions should be cleared by just watching the first few videos in the course. Also, I'm going to update the course, guys, because I realized that there are a few things, because the majority of the questions are always asked again and again and again. So I'm going to update the course. I will need up to 2-3 weeks to have that completed. So I'm trying to like renew everything, every single video. Up to 1 month it will take, but it's like not something which it's right now for you guys important, more than likely just for the new guys. You should already know what's going on here just by watching a few Zoom calls. So I'm trying to give you here more, better view to everything. But just for you to remember, the Zoom calls are the most relevant ones. This is where you will always get the latest updates. Like right now on gold, like that's not what I covered up in the course, like the behavior of gold and so on. That's what I always teach you or tell you the moment when I'm experiencing it, like right now. Okay, so today I dealt with gold, so I'm going to share with you this experience. So I'm going to give you my expertise that I have, since I'm trading right now a long time. So that's why I always prefer you guys to always watch the Zoom calls. Okay, so let's go back to it. So we got the Asia session indicator. So that's like the first thing that you should have a look on. And I like to stay on the M15 time frame very often. Okay, sometimes 4 hours can help you. In this case, it will not really help me. This is the only case where I personally will like go even to the 1 hour. I don't use that often, the 1 hour. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense. This is also up to you if you prefer it or not. I'm not saying that the 1 hour is bad to use. It's okay to use it. Personally, just never really came to use it. So let's have a look. 1 hour. Like I said, I cannot really see something. The only thing which makes it a bit interesting is that you have here like equal highs on the 1 hour. That's what you can see. So you can just mark that. And you can also understand that the low more than likely is also going to be liquidity, because it's not sweeping anything. So that's why I can read right now from the from the 1 hour. If I look right now on the M15, I would say, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that also this 1 hour is liquidity, like this. This liquidity and the Asia low is going to be liquidity. So just mark the levels. Even if you don't know right now for a fact what will happen, mark these levels as a potential liquidity source. So for me, it's like when I see it like this, I understand that the low is also going to be liquidity. But what I also understand is right now, like in the context where we are, we have the chances that price will go to one side, will clear one side, and then will clear the next one. So for instance, we could like drop down, take this, take out the high. We can also go up, take out this, and take out the low. We just don't know where or what will happen first. We just know that both highs and lows right now from the Asia are to a very high chance right now liquidity. So we're just trying to see what market is telling us in form of the sessions, of course, to see, okay, we got a Frankfurt session, we got a London session, to see, okay, how can we right now like get an entry in this market to participate on a potential movement. So that's like the questions that you should always ask yourself. And very often it's like just the next minute will give you like the decision on what price will do. Maybe a random question, but can you record a video a day in the life of Darius? So what you do in a day? Ooh, yeah, actually, why not? Would make probably sense for you. But I think that this is something which I will do anyway in on Instagram then. For you guys, what you should just know is actually how I'm applying the strategy. And that's probably the most important thing for you guys. So just to understand always like it's also for me, like every day is a new learning day. Today was like a successful learning day for me because I learned at the same time while I was capitalizing on something. So that's like definitely the best days if it's like that. If you're learning and you're capitalizing, very often that's not the case. So like last week was also for me quite, if I'm honest, was quite tricky, quite difficult. So I just had like one day, which I would say, yeah, that was a banger day. But the other ones, break even days, lost days. So not really something which I prefer, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's part of it. But at the same time, I learned and I just used the new knowledge and so on that I gained last week, for instance, to also make here better profits today. Okay. I always view it like that. Day in the life of a millionaire. Yeah. So definitely it's more than likely will be social media content for you guys. You want the education, you want to do it by yourself. So that's actually the thing. Can you also check EU of the goal? I was monitoring M15 balance on the left, but price just went through it and went all the way to the 2-hour imbalance and then dropped. Would it be valid to catch a short in EU? Thanks in advance. So very important is to understand, like, if price is dropping and you say, would it be valid to catch the short? I can see up front, 100%, even though I didn't check to the EU, it's possible. Why? Because the short more than likely happened also Frankfurt or in the London session. And when a movement happens in one of these two sessions, you can always capitalize on that. So it's like I more than likely only trade these two sessions. So Frankfurt and London. I'm not really trading like New York, even though I could trade New York. Maybe today I will even trade New York. It's also an optional thing for me. It's always optional because I don't want to risk unnecessary my profits. So also here, when it comes to percentage, how much percentage I do risk per trade, it's different. Okay, so I have like multiple accounts right now. I'm honest, I do not even know how many accounts I have. The thing is, like, I always go for my targets on funded accounts. It's around 10%. That's when I then stop it. Sometimes even earlier. It depends in my mood and so on, how it happens. I also do still have some challenges to finish. I have verifications to finish. I have personal accounts. So I have a lot. So just saying right now what percentage at risk is super, hard to say. More than likely, I go very often for a 1% risk. 1% risk, 5 pips. So that's what I like to do on like funded accounts very often. So it's like, that's why you always see me when I get a lot, when I use a lot size, it's always around 30 lot. It's like for my account size that I have always is like for 5 pips, it's around 30, 35, something like that is what I can use. Whatever questions you may have now, you will find your answer in the Zoom call. Trust me. Yeah, that's the thing. So, and the Zoom calls, you always have like all your answers. So I know it's not the easiest way now. Okay, come on, learn the strategy, like just watching the course and you get it. It's like, it's impossible to like put the full knowledge like in the course. And I think also it's not ideal to put it like that because you're going to watch it and you will just have an overflow of informations you will not have the ability to understand it at that moment, and you will also not have any recent examples or something like that, and it's super hard to get it into your mind. So that's why I just stick like to this type of knowledge education. Like, you watch a course, you all have a foundation. Of course, that's why I want to update a little bit, to just to make it like this, that you can like, okay, I have a question, where can I find the answer for the question, instead of always asking Darius hundreds of times. I can just search that on his website or in his Discord, and you will find the answers. So that's how I'm trying to fix it, so that it will be easier for you. But still, the Zoom calls will be in the way on how they are right now, because they're just going to like, it's like it's like you go your journey, and the Zoom calls are right next to it. Okay, so you just use always the knowledge and the most recent examples and so on from the Zoom calls, apply it to yourself, and you keep on going. Okay, great. Darius, warum tradest du Euro nicht? Weil wir in Frankfurt und London Session traden. To be honest, I've never traded gold euro my whole life. I don't even know if I have this on my broker that I'm using, and I also don't really care about it, if I'm honest. I just use the standard gold. Let's see, maybe in a few years we will anyway don't have dollar anymore, so yeah. Let's see. But yeah, definitely. So I stick to the normal gold. I also recommend you doing the same. Okay, so now let's get it. Let's go into the analysis of gold. Let's understand what happened and why we can capitalize, or why it was so easy to capitalize at the end on this movement. So one more time, what you need to understand are the liquidity points. So for me, like I said, equal highs here, liquidity here, liquidity there. Now, what else do we need to identify? The next step are imbalances. So I can see a pretty nice imbalance here, which we tapped into it. Interesting about these are always like the wicks. Potentially we will go and tap into it one more time. It's something which we don't know for a fact. And we got an imbalance down here. That's it. That's all I need on my charts. And from this information that I got, I need to make right now like a trading decision. Oh yeah, and this one. And we got this one. Then I go straight to M1 or M5, optional, depending on how much do I want to see or where we are right now. Where is the current context? Is price already like dropping down and we didn't manage to take it straight yet or so on, and we're still waiting for some confirmation. So it's important for us to understand where are potential imbalances on the M5 as well. So that's also why you can check M5. But right now, M5, you see this, you see bearish candle, okay, not really much information. And now you got the Frankfurt session. Going to start, boom, dropping down lower. Is this right now can you take any form of entry when you are like in an imbalance? Yes, you can actually only look for longs. You cannot really take any form of shorts right now because price is already dropping down. If you do expect price to continue to drop down lower, because that's what you expect, right? Because also for me, I was expecting like price will drop down lower. But if I have a look on what I see on the M1, the extreme is in general something which will just be taken out, as I explained that multiple times here. So that's not where I have my eyes on. So I know already like, okay, I have like zero liquidity. I have like imbalance here before, but I don't have like any form of nice liquidity in order for this imbalance to work. Or in general, it's just one imbalance. So I know like from the start, more than likely price will go up higher, probably come up higher to feel like some form of imbalance here first, maybe even taking out the Asia high. I don't know that for a fact right now from this point that this will happen. I just know that the chances right now are super high that we will go up higher instead of just dropping and melting through it. Even though if price will melt down to the downside, then I will be looking for price to take out the Asia low, and then I will look for a longing opportunity. That easy at the end. Interesting. Price dropped down, pushed up, made that one kind of pin bar thing. But as you can see, it's an inside bar thing, so it's not relevant for us. Now, what happens is something interesting, because we do take out a form of liquidity, which was here, but here, then one more time, that did take out their own liquidity, and we filled a form of imbalance on the M1, and we made like this bullish pin bar. That is a confirmation to take a long. More than likely, what you can do in a situation like this is go and take the long and target right now at least this high or even this one, depending on how you want to go for it. You can even target the Asia high, depending on how confident you are in the understanding of this POI. For me, it's like, okay, I'm not quite sure about this. I would just look and monitorize what price will do. So for me, I was not interested in taking the long, even though I was expecting the long, but I wanted to go short. So for me, now that I see price grab this form of liquidity, we pushed up higher, we are in a form of imbalance, I was just looking for some form of confirmations. Inside bar bearish, no confirmation for me. Price pushed up higher, bullish, and went bearish. I know right now already for a fact that price will go and take out this. If it will take out this, it will also take out the high. It will run the equal highs. So I know that already from the point where I am right now that this will happen. And the reason for that is because I know this pattern here already pretty good. Whenever you have a bullish pin bar, price is followed by such an aggressive bearish candle, more than likely price would just go and take it out. That's what I just noticed over the last couple of months, and that's why I'm never entering right now here in the short, because this is exactly what everybody does. This is for SMC traders an M1 breakup structure at the end, and for us the liquidity to go bullish if we want, of course. I see bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle. What it's going to do, filling some form of imbalance here to go up higher afterwards. That's exactly what happens. I get inside bar, blah, blah, blah. Price pushing up higher and higher until, of course, the Asia high was taken out. Okay, so you see, that's right now like the situation. Price just pushed up higher. So even though if you, for instance, you did took like this long right now, and you are waiting for more confirmations on where to close it, you know already, like after price printed the first pullback, that I will go up higher. After this pullback, you also know that I will go up higher, and then you target already the Asia high, and that's where you can close your profits. Then it's 8:20. More than likely, I'm not waiting for anything else. I'm just waiting for London because I don't know what will happen now. You see now price starting to do this weird thing. In reality, it's probably filling something at the top because it grabbed liquidity and there is an order, filled that order, and now it's preparing for our short trade at the end. Now, important for you to understand this, price drops down, and that's exactly right now that one weird feeling for SMC traders, like structured traders, blah, 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 for all type of traders, because they all wanted to go for the short, right? So here, 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 and then here. Where was their stop loss? Exactly. It was above this. So now you hunted all these stop losses and price went down lower. This push down is doing now what? Breaking structure, and now it needs to go back up because this is the point where people bought the market. That's the point where people lost their short position. Automatic reaction of the market is to drop down lower to hunt the next form of liquidity, and in reality to fill some form of imbalance in here. After that imbalance was filled, price can now really go up higher. You see, it's starting to push up higher. And the reason for that was that imbalance fill. And then this bullish candle to give you like the entry confirmation to go bullish. So very interesting thing, super easy trade at the end. So you could even take like this entry somewhere here. For instance, waiting for this pullback, stop loss here, and then you can target straight to high if you want. For instance, say, hey, you're super confident we're going to take out the high, or again, you're waiting for some form of entry confirmation candles. In this case, right now, you have, yeah, exactly. You have like it's already London. We can go back. So you got London opening. London wants now what? Some form of liquidity. So you always need to be like in the flow of the market. Right now, like I explained, we filled this imbalance M15. We pushed up, grabbed liquidity from Asia high. We went down to take the next form of imbalance. And now we go up higher because here everything is, of course, liquidity. And afterwards, we may expect some movements. That's exactly what price is giving you right now. It's giving you a bearish pin bar after grab liquidity in the London session opening. So that's for you right now. The confirmation to say, okay, cool. That's exactly what I wanted to see for my short. Now I can expect price to go down and to hunt my low. So you see how aggressive it is moving. So that's exactly why when I've seen this bearish pin bar, I was a little bit late because I just wanted to see, hey, will it push up higher now or something like that? But then immediately, as soon as I realized, we went down lower. And in this case, you can even just go for this basic M1 break of structure confirmation if you want. All I want to do is in a situation like this is to just protect something, because I know price wants to come up higher. The extreme will be left as an imbalance. So like this here. Oops. Here you see imbalance still left. This one, the wick, this wick. So price will leave these imbalances. And at the end, all you need to do is just to enter on one of these candles. Enter and protect the candle. If you're not too confident about everything, just protect the high and you're good about it. Okay, so this is right now personal preferences at the end and how you want to deal with that situation, how you want to take the trade. For me at the end, how I entered was like in this consolidation. I understood, hey, we went down lower, and I just protected at the end this high here, because maybe we will come up higher. What I understood is that price definitely here with this break, it balanced also the supply range. So I was like, okay, cool. Price more than likely will now just drop down lower without giving any other confirmation, something like that. So it would just drop perfectly. You cannot expect price here to continue to move up higher, as everything now is definitely liquidity for the market. Okay, super easy, super simple. Okay, so I see we got a few questions. Let me just run price till it went down lower. So we had like this consolidation. In this consolidation, after price did this, I entered. Where did I enter? Yeah, I entered here. After it tapped into it, reaction to the downside, and I protected just this thing here. That was just a small scaling position, and then till the Asia low, and I was out of the market. So that's how I traded at the end today gold. But yeah, it continued, of course, to drop down lower. So was a very cool trade. You see, once price is moving, it would just go straight to the point where it needs to go. Here in this case, just came back to the imbalance and then, grabbed this liquidity, because it grabbed first this liquidity from the Asia low to the next imbalance, and then went down to the imbalance down there. And then from here, going up higher to take out again everything, because that's exactly how the market moves at the end, from liquidity to liquidity. And the imbalances are always going to be used in a way that they are just creating trap supply zones and demand zones and all these things, and people believe that they need to be filled now or later. But at the end, you need to always associate everything with liquidity to understand, okay, where are my relevant highs and lows? Which ones do need to be taken first? Where is my next imbalance? Where do I need to go? And so on. So it's a ping pong thing the whole time. You just need to understand the game at the end on how or which one is the next point to go for. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's more difficult. It's a thing which you will just get an intuition for it with time. Because you just need to understand, oh, it's okay, now I grab this imbalance, like here, just to repeat it one more time, pushed up here. Filled imbalance to fill this. After this imbalance, went for the full liquidity, because here was no relevant imbalance anymore. You can see on the reactions, if the imbalance, which you can see here potentially on the lower time frame, is irrelevant because it doesn't give you like the entry candle confirmations, then came down to grab this liquidity, to fill this imbalance, to come up higher, to take out again liquidity, and then to drop down lower. So it's always the same kind of thing repeating itself hundreds of times per day, okay? So I would just take a quick 1 to 2 minute break, and then I'm going to answer all your questions and we will go over GBP/USD, guys, okay?
Okay, Darius.
Okay, so I see you right now here. Your confirmation was the candlestick. Exactly. So candlestick patterns are for us the entry confirmation. I guess it's based on your experience now, but as a newbie, I watched your core content when you explain not to trade imbalances only, but rather in combination if there is an order block and liquidity. So sorry for bothering. Yeah. So like I said, trading off of imbalances, like you usually trade an order block, is not what you should do. So like, for instance, you got here imbalance, right? You should not just, because the imbalance goes till here, that's how you assume that this is the imbalance. You see all the wicks are potentially imbalances. So you could even drag this higher. I'm not a fan of trading an imbalance like this, if I'm honest, because price can always go up higher to fill also this imbalance. And maybe on the lower time frame, now we are in the lower time frame, but let's assume that this is an M15 time frame, for instance, then here you will have on the extreme something, which is on the M1, and price can go till the lower time frame imbalance, and therefore your stop loss will be just hit, but your idea is still right. So this is where order block, for instance, will have a bigger advantage because you are going to just protect the higher time frame idea by putting stop loss above the order block. Now, I'm not trading order blocks, so that's why you should not take any of these. So you should just understand why you have your imbalance, and you can trade off of these imbalances by having a look on the candlestick patterns as you entry. That's how you should do it. Do you use Trade Copier for all your accounts? If so, can you tell me which one, please? No, I'm not using that. Just made researches on that because I wanted to do that, but at the end, just read very bad reviews on many of them because it's sometimes you have like delays, and that's what I don't want. I'd rather take the delays if I just need like these 1-2 seconds to switch. Yeah, social traders. That's the thing. So many people say social trader is good, but also people say that social trader is not that good again. So personally, I never put it into practice. If I'm honest, I don't even need Trade Copier. For me, it's okay the way I'm doing it right now. So I just like to I don't need to trade always all accounts at the same time, even though sometimes that would be nice. But if you have a bad week, that will be super bad for you because then all your accounts are in a drawdown. That's not what you want at the end. So I just switch up then. Yeah. You thought about Magic Keys. I'm not using Magic Keys either. So I just use at the end just my MetaTrader application on my mobile phone. I'm not even using it on a Mac or something like that. I use very often, like I said, 5 pip stop loss with my 1%, so around 30 lots, fixed lot size, and that's it. So I don't trade too much sessions. So I don't need all these things because it's a super mechanical thing. So I don't use like today 15 lots, today 35 lots, then 27, then 14, 5, and so on. Of course, like on gold, I needed to use lower, but very often it's like for me, I go for 30 lots and I like to split it. If I'm not feeling good about this idea, like for instance, oh, potentially I need to give it like from the start more room. I need to give it like around 10 pips, then I use 15 lots, okay? Because that's exactly half of risk, or it would be the same risk for a 10 pip stop loss. And then when I see price is not going above my 5 pip stop loss, even though I have a 10 pip stop loss, I like to scale in with the order flow in a second M15. So quick example, for instance, because I did that on GU today. Let's just go straight to GU then. Because in GU I split it today. It's in two. Okay, let me just go through the questions. What about your psychology? How did you work on that? Did you read any books, and do you drink lots of yes. Oh, you hear my birds? Hey, birds are nice. I hear every day my birds here. That's why I love Austria at the end. Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee if I'm honest, but of course not to extremes. I drink like around 3 to 4 coffees, and I'm doing intermittent fasting. That way, that's also at the end why I'm only trading like the Frankfurt and London session, because I wake up, I just drink water, and I also wait 90 to 120 minutes, so 1.5 to 2 hours before I start with my first coffee. So I'm usually awake around 6 o'clock right now, and I can drink exactly a couple of minutes before the Frankfurt session or while the Frankfurt session, my first coffee. And that's when my dopamine goes to a very high level at that moment, because you are like fasted. You drink coffee, you took water in it, and then I'm always so hyped for the Frankfurt and London sessions. And the London session, I take my second one, and then usually after the London session, I'm in a very big down. So like right now, I just got my first meal. I'm not feeling super well, but that depends. Okay, sometimes it's like that. Today also, like for instance, I feel like I cannot breathe good. I don't know why, but you know, you have sometimes days like that. But in general, you have a little bit lower energy. So that's why I also don't really like to trade the New York session, because I feel like not that good right now for to rock the New York session. I'm feeling like I need to go to sleep, or usually I also go to the gym exactly here between in the dead zone. I like to go to the gym, and then when I'm going to come to the New York session, it's like, oh, I got my second meal or my first meal, and then I'm really down at that moment. And for psychology, yes, I've read a lot of books, but that's when I started this whole business. I started to get into forex trading, and then while I had always my downs, I just took another book, improved my psychology. But right now, if I'm honest, the last couple of months, even 1 to 2 years now, since my forex journey is much better, I'm not reading that much anymore, if I'm honest. It's very raw that I pick up a book. But what I do instead of reading books is I'm listening to podcasts and interviews. So a lot of Andrew Tate, Luke Belmar, um, can't even name so many at the end. Some German people, in general, podcasts on YouTube, a lot, interviews from a bunch of different people. So that's why I cannot even remember the people, because it's always like different personalities at the end. I'm just trying to pick up a few things about them. But if I'm honest, at the end, it's everything is good and nice and so on. But in order to be a successful forex trader, if I'm honest, it's okay, but you don't really need that, if I'm honest. So you need psychology. I'm not saying you don't need psychology or something. And at the end, of course, 90% are emotions and so on, and how you control them. But it's like, that's what so many people always try to sell you. It's like, you get a new strategy and so on, and then they say, yeah, but you're not working on your psychology and your emotions and your mindset, and that's where you're not making profits with the strategy. And of course, at some point it's true and so on, but it's not really the truth, because you just need at the end the experience with the strategy. That's just what they don't understand, or what many do not understand, is because you get the strategy. The rules are so simple. I mean, if you just look at our strategy at the end, Asia high and lowest liquidity, entry candle confirmations and imbalances. That's it. That's it. You don't need more. You try to understand what liquidity is and so on. But at the end, to put it into practice and to like always execute it properly and to recognize that in time and all these things, that's exactly what just takes time and can take up to 1 year from my point of view. If you are already an experienced trader, if you just start and you get into our strategy, I can say up front that 1 year is too less for you. You need more time. You probably need up to 2 years, because what psychology you need to learn is, of course, you read these books because you need to get like the basics. Okay, the basics is what you need to understand. You need to know how to deal with negative emotions, because it's like when you start trading, and I can tell you now exactly how it was for me. Like for instance, last week, because that was super interesting for me also, because this whole year I didn't really had a negative week or something. I had bad weeks compared to my good weeks. But like last week was like the first one where I just realized, if I wouldn't had that one day, which was Wednesday, and as you can see, I can remember so good, because it was like also for me, I was so surprised that I did took good trades at the end, but just because of 2 pip TP, which was wrong at the end, from my point of view, so I used it wrong. I couldn't capitalize on that movement, and I just get another stop loss hit, and I just realized that, okay, you are in a situation where you're following your strategy and you're doing everything right. You're even into nice profits. I mean, these days where I had that, I was like always on my accounts around 7-8K profit. So I've seen that on the MetaTrader. I didn't close it because it says, hey, 2 pip away is my TP. I'm not going to close it right now, and then stop loss hit. Now that's a very, very weird feeling. And that's what you need to also need to learn how to go against it, right? How to sustain that feelings always, because you're like grabbing that feeling, and the next day when you're trading, at some point it's like you're going to lose. You're getting these emotions like you're just going to lose today again. And it happened, it was like Thursday and Friday, just experienced the same kind of things. On Thursday, I was, of course, because of Wednesday was so good, I was overconfident. And then 2 pips, boom. Then I felt like, shit, man, that's not good. What happened? Then Friday, at some point, when I was again in profit, then I've seen how I was very close at my TP. And then it started to reverse, and I just get the feeling. I said, oh no, you're going to fuck up right now. I mean, it happened at the end that I fucked up because I went against my stop loss, but that one negative energy is just overcoming you. That's not good. You need to learn how to sustain and to hold against it, because then today again, I had like that bad feeling again. So I just traded today. I was super confident. Hey, this thing is going to go short. But of course, I was having patience and I just waited. Hey, come on. Don't try to get too fast into the entries. And usually, if I'm honest, I don't have like that problem that I need to wait for my setups. Very often it's just like the right closing, right? Then the right timing sometimes and so on. Like today, you see Frankfurt, no trade. London straight at the opening. So you need to also know, bam, when do I need to execute and so on. And don't need to, like, your emotions don't have to overcome you at the end. And I had like that feeling during the Frankfurt session, oh, you're not going to do it and so on, because price didn't give you that one entry, right? And I was like, oh my God, I'm missing the setup. And that's a problem. And then your mind is saying to you, you're going to lose. And having a strong mindset against that, I don't know how to build that right now by reading books, if I'm honest. Of course, you should read books. You need to have these basics. But at the end, it's more than likely the experience, right? Because you need to go through such phases. And you need to go through such phases many, many times. And for me, like last week was that interesting for me at the end, because I hadn't had that for a long time, if I'm honest, that I had these negative feelings anymore. Because it's like, for me, I felt like, okay, I got my strategy. I'm feeling good. I make good money. I'm just like, okay, nobody can stop me, having that kind of feeling and so on. Past a lot of challenges, withdraw a lot of money and all these things. And it's like, you feel super powerful until again, such a moment will happen. And these moments will come, it's like 100% guarantee that they will come. And I was aware of that, but I was not expecting that it will hit you so hard. But the longer you are in this journey, the less it will affect you then. It won't take you so much time to recover from these phases. So I can remember a few years ago, like I traded and it was like every day, negative. Now, what do you think will happen with your results if you're thinking negative? They're also going to be negative, but at some point, then positive. Positive. Again, then negative, positive. It's like the rules of the games at the end. It will always be like that. And you just need to learn to be very like emotionless. You don't need to have too much emotions in this whole situations, and just surpass these phases. Don't be too happy just because you're making profits, and don't have too much anxiety and all these things because you're losing right now, like one trade after another one. So hard to explain, because it's like, it's just process. It's time which it just takes to build up that mindset. And it's like, oh, many don't always say, yeah, these 5 books, read these 5 trading books, blah blah blah. My whole life, I didn't read one single trading book, only like standard mindset books, like I don't know how they are called right now in English, because I've read all of these in German. But there are a few familiar ones, and I think everybody knows them, or like Tony Robbins, read also Tony Robbins. So it's just like, positive affirmations and so on, but don't like waste your time at the end with these books. You need to have a phase in your life where you go through these books to get the knowledge of it, to understand it. At some point you will understand it, and that's it, but you will still need to train it like a muscle. And that's why I then switched to podcasts and interviews, because when a man is telling you right now, like Luke Belmar is one who I like to watch a lot, or maybe Andrew Tate, which many know. It's like a person who really makes a ton of shit of money is talking in a video and explains you his story, how he overcame some different situations and so on. You will just automatically learn from his experience by just listening to him, and you will always like get the newest updates. And that's probably what you need. A book is like, okay, has been written 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and then you get the experience from that one person from that time. Interesting is also to understand that the psychology from the human hasn't changed since thousands of years. So it's really crazy if you read like books which are very old, and people can tell you psychology things which do work right now still. They still work, because people, I mean, with new technology, we are changing and so on, which is crazy. Right now, I have like the new chat GPT on my phone, where it's connected with I don't know if you're familiar with coding, but it's connected right now through the shortcut option in iOS with my iOS, and I can like just write down, oh, I need a playlist of the top 10 hip hop songs, and it will create that one playlist and will store it in my music app just by writing that one code, just asking ChatGPT through Siri. So that's how it's connected at the end. It's like, it's crazy. But at the end, we're all so dumb and stupid, because that's why trading works the way it works, because the psychology and human are so emotional. That's exactly where you can always benefit if you just know how to overcome that. Because also you, no matter how good you are, you will be at some point victim to it. That's exactly at the end like why all these forex systems and these banks and so on also do fail at some point, and they do not have 100% win rate, because it's impossible to always be on the right way. You only have like probabilistics. So I also recommend you guys to learn more about ChatGPT, because ChatGPT also opened up a little bit my eyes of understanding like the algo of what we're doing here. Because like, how does ChatGPT works, or how does ChatGPT know right now that this picture, if we have here a picture, let's say this is a car. Here you got a car in this picture. Okay, I'm super bad. Should be a car, okay. Okay, you got a car here. And here you got something which looks similar to a car. Okay? Let's say it just has one wheel. ChatGPT will not say, hey, this thing here is a car, because that's not what ChatGPT can say to you. It cannot say, hey, this is a car. It can just say it is 99.99% a car. So it always thinks in probabilistics. And it will say to this picture here, this is 99.98% a car, because probably this is something different, because there is a wheel missing. So that's how at the end everything are just probabilistics. And that's why I like to always say, yeah, the strategy is 100% thing, because it can be up to 100%, which is not realistic, like I said, because everything at the end just depends on probabilistics. I mean, even if you just think of your own life, it's like when you're driving your car, there's always a chance that you will have a car accident. It is simply there. There is a chance that you will see another car which looks the same like your car. Or there's a certain percentage that the car that you will see is yellow on that day. It was a yellow car or a red car or a black car. Different probabilistics at the end. Everything is just probabilistics. And that's exactly the kind of thinking that you need to implement and what you need to have in your background for your trading as well. So yeah, try right now to combine everything here in this call right now. I hope that you understand what I'm meaning. Yeah, it's a process at the end, you know. It's a long process at the end, if I'm honest, you know. So right now for me, I'm around to be 4.5 years here, and I still learn every single week, which is crazy. Every single week I just see, oh yeah, this scenario, this situation, and that's exactly how you at the end link these probabilistics. And that's like your subconscious mind will always tell you, hey, short. But you don't know at that moment that you need to go short. You don't know where and all these things. Like for me, it's very often like that. When I send the forecast, I say short, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to go now short? Because that's the plan. You know, for me, the plan is, okay, I see these levels. This is where price right now, from my point of view, more than likely will go. I want to take shorts, but I can't see it right now how I can enter the short, and probably I will not even get to confirmations. So that's like the process that I have in my mind. And that's what you need to have as well. You know, you don't just, hey, Darius says short, let's go short now. Let's have a 20 pip stop loss, or I don't know, or let's just go here short, here short, here short, stop loss it, stop loss it, stop loss it, stop loss it. No, have your patience. Understand, like when I say price more than likely will go short, the chances are definitely high. Of course, yes, they are high, but they're not guaranteed. And especially when it comes to your entry, it can be still super difficult because you need to see what M1 is telling you. And that's like, for me, super hard to tell always what price will do, because I also need to wait. I'm not that crazy that I see, okay, that's how price looks like, 100% short, 100% to that level, 100% this imbalance, 100% here the reaction will come. No, play the reaction. And that's why, like, everybody should always just sit on the chart, have the M1 time frame, switch from M15 to M5 to M1 the whole time to see, okay, now, and then you take it, depending on if you get your confirmations or not. It's that easy, team. Okay? Yeah. Great. Let's go over GU. So I think that's enough right now for mindset and blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look on what GU did. Because GU, if I'm honest, was also not really difficult, super easy. It was just the Frankfurt session, which, again, I was not sure if I would get the entry, so I didn't get the entry in the Frankfurt session at the end, so I just waited. So let's have a look. What do we got here? We can't have a look right now on the higher time frame. In this case, probably would even make sense. Let's just go like this. We see imbalance here. We see liquidity here. That's it. On 4 hours, cannot really see too much things. Maybe here this. Understanding that there is an imbalance, price at some point will come up higher to fill that imbalance as well. Okay, M15. This imbalance is also here, an imbalance. That was definitely a point where I looked today, right? So I watched this point, I said, okay, maybe price will come to it, maybe not, I'm not sure. And then I understood that you got an imbalance here, okay? So the extreme of Asia. What I liked today about the extreme of Asia was the fact that we swept actually this here, this or this. It definitely pushed up and potentially it balanced the market already here. So you see, I also don't know for a fact here, hey, is this even an imbalance or not? Of course, there is in between something, but that doesn't mean that price will do that, because in order to come here, very often what it needs is a big source of liquidity. The big source of liquidity is where? Here. Or if you look to the left, here. These points maybe will bring the price back up. That's what we just don't know yet. So you see, this is the way of thinking that you need to have. Higher time frame, you don't really care about that too much because that's like here, this push down is the 4-hour demand area. So the moment when price tapped into here, we balanced it. Then we push up higher. Great. What do you got here? Equal lows. So that's like for me the number one reason why I was so why I liked the short idea, because I've seen this equal lows, I've seen this imbalance and potentially this imbalance, and I say, okay, one of these two are just going to bring the price down to hunt equal lows. Interesting is to see, okay, hey, we also got here a form of liquidity, and we got at the low an imbalance, which is here, right? Starting after the price grabs the liquidity, the imbalance already starts. So now let's move on to 7:45. Yeah, you see, we come into it, we tap into this imbalance, and we're already pushing down. Okay, so that was like for me a tricky scenario or situation, because you cannot just like, you see this reacting from here, potentially the wick is still an imbalance, you know, so price can still come to grab the imbalance at the wick and then drop down lower, because you need to always understand, like in the current context where you are, where is liquidity? And because if price reacts here already pretty high, pretty strong, and it grabbed like this, more than likely it will come down lower here to grab the low. So on the,
ja. Nochmal in der 15. Wenn du jetzt die Wicks anschaust, warum sagst du, dass die Imbalance hier anfängt? Weil die wurde ja schon zum Teil gemitigated. Warum sagst du nicht, die fängt da oben
an? Also ja, kannst du machen. Also ich nehme das immer so, weil mir das ziemlich egal ist jetzt, ob das jetzt von hier, ich schaue mir das grundsätzlich an, wenn er hier reinkommt.
Okay, aber das jetzt spielt es keine große Rolle, ob man...
Nein, das spielt keine große Rolle. Also so habe ich mir jetzt ehrlich gesagt noch nie Gedanken gemacht.
Okay, danke.
Gerne. So we're just asking right now, why don't you put like the imbalance from here instead of from here? So for me, this is not really a relevance. I just use like this whole thing. The imbalance starts for me like in the wick itself. Now, yes, you see push down, push up, push down. For me, this whole thing is the imbalance area at the end. Okay, so you see we push down, go to M1. Let's have a look. Frankfurt starts to open, and you see already what will more than likely happen. This is liquidity. The upside is liquidity. So you cannot do anything at that moment. And that's exactly where price just moves down, and the Frankfurt trade is over, because your opportunity was somewhere here, probably here in the bearish order flow, but that was not our timing. So no valid options for us. Now we feel the imbalance here down there, and that's exactly where you can look for your first potential longing opportunity. So you see here, you got this bullish pin bar, and you can then actually look for a nice long. Now in this case, it even takes you out. You see, it takes you a little bit out. Should not be too much. So you can have a look always on M5 to see what you got here. So I'm in general always a fan of protecting like the full idea if possible. So right now, if you do this, protect the low in this case, you see low of Asia always has a power. So you got your confirmation somewhere here. You see, with a 3.7 pip stop loss, you will protect the full idea. That's what you should do, definitely, in all these cases. You see that this whole thing is in imbalance, so price can at any time come even lower. At some point, it will react. Why didn't you go for the buy? If I'm honest, I haven't seen this. Haven't seen it like this. Haven't seen the opportunity to go long. For me, it was like I want to go short because that's what I wanted to go for based on what I've seen. where price should go, yes, long would have been definitely a nice opportunity. But at the end, as you can see, also here, maximum till the imbalance. So still not a very crazy opportunity. It's Frankfurt. So I don't know. I couldn't target like something like this. So I don't want it to go long at the end. Even though I've seen that and I said, okay, it's potentially a long, I just said, hey, I'm just waiting. Because maybe price will go like this, you know. There was the chance at least. So I haven't seen it in the right time at that moment. And then price already started to push up higher. Then I was just waiting at the end for price to come up higher to fill some form of imbalance. And then here you got already 9 o'clock. And now the interesting part starts. Because now you need to make up your idea. How are you going to enter this market? How are you going to take here your first short? So for me, it was like that. I've seen here price potentially coming to fill the imbalance, right? So that's the M15 imbalance. The M1 imbalance is here with the risk and chance that the Asia highest liquidity. So I didn't look like at this POI. I looked from the start at this POI. If even the Asia high should be for me something relevant, which I know already is super risky because you protected the low right now. Okay, so you protected Asia low. In most of the cases, what will happen is price will go hunt the Asia high now and go down lower. But that's not what needs to happen, especially right now in this case. You see that you have like triple lows now. So we had already our equal lows, this. Now you got this, and of course also this. So you have like just lows here, which price will 100% go for them. More than likely, this would be the ideal situation to happen, but doesn't need to happen. That's exactly the interesting thing about this trade at the end. So I just had a look from the start. Okay, let's have a look on the extreme. So even though if I wanted to take any shorts and all ideas, I want to have the Asia high protected. Okay, having that perspective to it. You see now price pushing up higher here, grabbing the first part of the imbalance. And that's exactly what we just explained in the Zoom call, is that you don't just want to trade off of imbalances because that's risky. If you just take up the trade from here and trade here, just the imbalance, because that's what many do, get your entry confirmations on everything is cool, price even drops down lower, you have a phenomenal high risk reward. What will happen is price will come and will go against you. And the reason why price is doing that in this case and the perspectives that you always need to have is, and this is exactly what happened on gold. It's the same thing what happened on gold, is you have imbalance here. You have imbalance. So what will price do? It will grab liquidity, fill imbalance, and then go up higher to take out the high to fill the full imbalance, because the imbalance was not filled till the moment here. Now you filled imbalance. You see how important it is not just play the reactions, because if you play the reactions like here, you could take a very nice trade, but you also need to know where do you need to close it. And if you take the trade, is better to protect like the higher time frame idea, because the higher time frame idea will be till here. So if you take this trade somewhere here, if you take it like straight from the imbalance, still in this case, only 3 pip stop loss, which is definitely phenomenal. That's exactly how you can go for it. A 1 to 8 risk reward. Phenomenal. That's how you can go. And this is low risk, because you know, if you have an imbalance, hey, this imbalance can speak against you. I'm not saying that this will happen every single time you got an imbalance, it will go straight against you, because that can be like also balance and then go back, right? More than likely, not always the case. You need to see the things how they are. But if you see like there is still an imbalance left, more than likely can speak against you. So what you should look for is, boom, the next potential at the top. And here you had like your perfect entry confirmation. So personally, also this one was not the one that I took because I just waited. I was not confident because I still had like in my mind, hey, potentially, we will go up higher. We will potentially grab the imbalance above because the Asia high is perfectly here. So what I did is I just waited for price to give me like more information on what it's doing. But actually, I should have been knowing it already because I've seen like this. No liquidity here, right? So this is straight liquidity, this low. And then look how interesting price is forming. Coming down, right? Forming equal lows right now by pushing up higher from here. And now I had like, okay, maybe this imbalance, that was my perspective to it. I said, okay, cool. Let's just do it like this. We got liquidity here. At the end, this is balance, right? And I said, okay, two chances. Chance number one, price will come up here, balance the high, because there's still something. And because this is still respecting the Asia high, price will come up higher, grab this liquidity, and then it will drop down lower. First scenario, or second scenario, we will go up higher till this area here, and then we will drop down after we cleared out Asia high. Very simple. So again, like I said, think in possibilities. I already know that if price will now respect this, we will go and clear out what? This whole thing here. So everything should be clear because this is now also liquidity. As you filled this form of imbalance, already a part of it was already filled here. More than likely, this is now pure liquidity, still imbalance to fill. But because of the pressure comes from the upside, it will go and take out this, then take out this, and then take out the Asia low. Super easy, right? So let's see what price is doing, coming up higher. And when I've seen this candle, I was like, ugh, okay, this looks like, okay, straight move up. Now, this is actually the entry candle confirmation, but I just didn't like everything because we pushed so much to the upside that I said, that's not cool. But the best part of everything was that one more time price just made only bullish candles. That is also a confirmation for you because here the same, bullish, 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 right? So you have like no liquidity in between. So more than likely price will go and hunt these. Everything is liquidity, especially because we closed now bearish. I know that this is exactly how it looks like here. It looks like, okay, it will go just straight up. That's how all retailers think of. That's exactly the moment where you need to rethink everything and understand, hey, but this is an entry candle confirmation because we swept the high. And that's enough for what price needs to do. But also me personally, I didn't take the trade there. I've seen in this push up and followed by this bearish movement. And then I said, okay, now I'm in. That's exactly where I took my entry here. Protected something here about the high. 11.7, yeah, exactly the high. And then I said, let's go for the Asia low. And you see how fast that was because it was really nailed to the point. But I was not, that's exactly to come back to the one point with the risk management. I was not 100% sure, right? Because I said, hey, maybe we will push up higher. So that was already a 4.2 pip stop loss. So what I did is calculated first, potentially we go like this, right? That's why I used, instead of 30 lots, 15 lots. And then when I've seen prices moving one more time lower, I said, okay, now we're in the trap. Now I'm confident about everything. Now I can put back all stop losses like this, and I can risk another 15 lots and then cool. Okay? That easy. And then I have my 30 lots into this position, into this trade till 8.4, TP hit, boom. So easy. That was my full process about how I managed to trade today the GU, and it was a very successful trade. Brought me over 5K, something like that. Super easy, super simple. Yeah, that's it. I thought buys are a trap. Yeah, of course, the whole buy movement was trapped today, right? So the short was the real movement, the real direction, and the purpose of the market at the end for today, because it just wanted to go down. Yeah, one more time, the candlestick patterns are all in the Discord and in the course. You can see that there, but I like to explain it every single time. What I like is pin bars. So like this one, but the pin bar needs to take out the previous candle, the high, not the low. The low is not necessary. So also this one is valid, but right now not in the right context. Okay, so as you can see, that's also relevant. More than likely that one. This one is valid, takes a previous candle. That's it. Just closing then bearish. That's what's for me super relevant. That it closed bearish if I want to go short, closing bullish if I want to go bullish. But I don't like inside bars. Inside bars are more than likely going to be a trap. Keep that in mind. And please don't use them.
Darius, can you show an example of inside bars that you refer?
Yeah, that was already the example of inside bars. Inside bars you should never use. Inside bars is actually when a candle, this is inside bar pin bar, this one here. You see?
Okay.
It's closing inside the previous candle. It's not taking out the high, not the low. So also, I do not care if you want to go bearish, doesn't need to take the low of the previous candle. It needs to take out the previous, the high of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Darius, ich habe auch eine kurze Frage zu Euro-US-Dollar. Jetzt nicht wirklich im Lower Timeframe, sondern im Stundenchart. Ich hatte eine bearische Bias, aber wusste halt, dass wir erstmal Asia High rausnehmen. Und ich habe mir jetzt, hast du im letzten Call auch erklärt, also das Extreme wird ja nicht genommen, aber eventuell balance der Markt halt hier. Er hat jetzt am Ende des Tages aber da gebalanced. Würdest du jetzt sagen, man kann das irgendwie so ein bisschen besser festlegen? Also würdest du mal beides markieren und schauen? Weil ich habe dementsprechend dann halt, hat mir so, ich glaube, ein Pip gefehlt zu den Profits, weil ich erst in den Long mitgetradet habe und danach habe ich den Short nicht genommen, weil ich halt dachte, der kommt noch ein bisschen höher, so weißt du?
Okay, warte, kannst du es nochmal zeigen?
Ja, safe. Also Extreme habe ich halt nicht erwartet, aber ich dachte halt, dass wir hier diesen Wick von der bullischen Candle halt, dass wir da balancen. Am Ende hat er halt den Wick da drunter gebalanced. Und
Ja, okay, safe. Warte, schauen wir uns das mal an. Mhm. Ja, das ist richtig, richtig blöd. So, also auf dem 1-Stunden-Chart kannst du das jetzt eigentlich, also ich hätte genauso das genommen, was du gemacht hättest. Also ich hätte mir das jetzt gar nicht angezeichnet, so.
Okay.
Auch den hier. Du sollst auch eigentlich nur den hier anzeichnen. Du kannst dir optional das noch anzeichnen. Du siehst auch, dass hier alles Trap ist und dass genau das High gehen muss. 15. Du musst aber auch verstehen, dass auf M15 das hier schon anfängt.
Ja, genau. Das war so Liquidität.
Genau, also eigentlich ist das irrelevant.
Okay.
Eigentlich ist das dein Imbalance bis hier oben. Also hier wäre sie gefüllt, hier fängt es an und ab dem Moment, wo er reinkommt und auf M15 dir das schon gibt, die Bearish Pin Bar, kannst du schon short gehen. Es muss ja dann die Reaction, also das ist schon klar, das schaue ich auch immer. Also du kannst es schon haben. Ich habe es auch immer drauf gezeichnet, weil es dann praktisch die Range ist. Für dich aber nicht wirklich relevant. Und du sollst dann sowieso ab dem Moment, wo er hier oberhalb kommt, sollst du schon anfangen, dir das Ganze auf Lower Timeframe anzuschauen. Auf Minute 1, jetzt bin ich ja, wie gesagt, von EU ja gar kein Fan mehr, so.
Ja.
Das bisschen an, was du hier so hast.
Ja, links war alles Trash, auch im M5.
Ja, das ist richtig Trash. Höchstens das noch. Ja, also das hast du auf M5.
Mhm.
M5 kannst du wirklich das sagen, weil das ist alles wieder so Trendline. Und da fängt wieder die Imbalance an. Und dann musst du dir kannst du dann das wegtun. Dann hast du nur mehr das, weil das ist genau die M5 Imbalance. Dann hast du wirklich alles refined. Auf M1 kannst du ja nichts mehr machen, weil da ist alles scheiße. Du kannst nur auf M5 dann warten. Und dann, wenn auf M1 hier kommt, die erste Confirmation. Dann hast du eigentlich nur das.
Ja.
Und da kannst du ja auch jetzt hier warten, weil du hast ja Asia High. Und du wartest auf den M1 Break of Structure. Das funktioniert auf Euro-Dollar perfekt eigentlich. Das funktioniert bei GBP jetzt nicht so gut. Aber da siehst du hier, schau. Ein Break, nochmal ein Break und dann hier Balance. Perfekt. Da brauchst du jetzt so beim Euro-Dollar grundsätzlich diese Entry Candle Confirmations sind nicht so stark jetzt wie beim GBP. Also da kannst du wirklich so gleich rein.
Ja,
Oder du
spannend.
wartest halt auf den Close, einfach auf den Close und steigst rein. Also der
Ja,
bullische
ich war noch
Close
long
ist.
bis zu dem Zeitpunkt, deswegen. Das war ein bisschen,
Ja,
aber easy. Ja, danke dir.
gerne. Okay. So guys, just explain a little bit the euro dollar. It's like euro dollar is definitely moving differently than GU. That's why personally I love GU more because it's like I said at the beginning of the Zoom call, more liquidity based. Euro dollar is more SMC, right? So SMC trader love EU because they like to give them the M1 break of structure kind of thing. Of course, you need to know where the imbalances are and the true liquidity points. And then it's powerful for you as well. In this case, the thing is on the 1 hour. So let's just go over this trade. Let's just delete this. Let me explain you this step by step. Because also here you see it came down, filled this imbalance. Now it needs to fill the next portion of the imbalance. For me, imbalances right now, if I need to map it out on a 1 hour straight, this is the first that I will map out just for me to have a bigger range of refinement. This is the true imbalance on the 1 hour starts here. And here, as you can see, we tapped into it already. That's not what we look for. That's not what's interesting for us if we're already in it. That's why you need to go to M15 to refine your imbalance. Go to M15, what do you see? You see one big candle. So everything starts already here, right? So when price will tap into this level, you fill part of the imbalance. If you come till the top, you filled the imbalance. And like I said, for us, it's not relevant, especially right now, because that's exactly here the point where order blocks will fail because people will have this on their eyes. That's what SMC traders do have. Liquidity traders will have this. And we need to have the point here. That's where price will go. And how do we know that? So me personally, what I like to tend to do is always like, okay, see here, M15, that's my range. Probably will come till the range. We can have that. It's not necessary. You need to go now M5 and refine your imbalance. You see imbalance is now where? Exactly here. That's your imbalance. So you expect price to tap into this level. This is liquidity. Till here, it's liquidity. You see trend line. We will tap into it and then we go down. That's what we want to expect. Or we tap into it and we continue to push and we take everything out because this is the trap SMC. SMC trap. Okay? That's what everybody has a look on it. Every SMC traders wants to sell from here. They say, oh, nice. This is my OB, my pin bar, my blah, blah, blah. That's what we know. We won't come to this level. That's why I also personally don't tend to use this imbalance in a situation like this, because I know already price will tap into this. And then somewhere in the imbalance, we will have the chance of reversal. But you don't even need to think that complicated because that imbalance kind of thing can be sometimes complicated. Interesting is to see the confirmations for you. You see now Asia high. Asia high is liquidity. As soon as price will tap above Asia high, what you want to see is an M1 break of structure. You see no M1 break of structure. You wait. No M1 break of structure. Where would be the break? The break, the true M1 break of structure, what we look for. And that's why I don't use that anymore on GU, because on GU, you don't need M1 break of structure. On EU, you more than likely need that. So you see this, this. Those are your breaks, right? Or this. So that would be like, for me here in this case, the first break of structure. And my imbalances were starting from here, going till here. So one of these 2 points are going to be my entry areas. I am right now here at this point above the M5 imbalance. So that's actually the first time where I should even go back to charts. So you can put your alert. Only when price is above this area, you're even considering to go short. You see, price gives you this bearish thing, which can be a confirmation candle. It's not one that I personally prefer, especially on GU. I'm not using these type of candles, just in the right POI. In this case, I know that the POI does need to be correct because we can still go technically till here, and technically I'm totally wrong and we will take out the high. So that's the way of thinking. So that's exactly why you need to have patience, and I will wait for M1 break of structure in a situation like this. And there is where you get the first one, and here you got your second one. So don't need to wait for 2 break of structures. Right now, it's just sometimes it's hard to say, hey, is this really my break or is this really my break? That's definitely the true break. If this happens, you know already for a fact, cool, price will come, balance this, but you will see it will go all the way to the extreme, because that's what will happen in a situation like this. If you are above Asia high, we'll come to it. You can already go straight short if you believe that this is the true POI. You got this one. You can go straight like here short. Can do that. I would not say this is wrong in a situation like this, because the POI makes sense. So what you can do is go back and have already like your limits set here, put here, or you wait for the first M1 closing when it taps into the imbalance, like this candle here. We closed in the imbalance, which is for me also an entry confirmation. When price taps into an imbalance and it just closes within the imbalance, right? It's not breaking the imbalance. So break of imbalance would be like price would go above here. Sometimes within that 1 minute, the candle will just go above it. And that's where it is invalid. So that's why I'm not a fan of just put sell limit and go short, or buy limit and go long. Wait for price to tap in the imbalance and to close within the imbalance. And then in this case, it closes, you execute it, and you go and target already what you want to target, and you go for your trade. And you see, melted. Okay? That's EU. So super easy at the end. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, that's it, guys. That's it. It was a very long Zoom call today. Hopefully you
Very complete, man. Very
What?
complete Zoom. Very complete Zoom.
Yeah. So we covered definitely everything right now. 3 pairs,
totally.
mindsets, every part, element of the strategy. So yeah, make
Exactly.
sure to just watch it one more time, okay, guys? That's important.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Great.
Totally.
You're welcome, guys. Now it's really important. It's like, if I'm honest, this Zoom is like everything is involved, right? From the education here. I don't think that I right now missed. Maybe there are a few small details which we could still add to it and so on, but more than likely that's what you need. And you see, this knowledge is not enough right now to make you profitable. You still need the time. You just need to go and apply this. What's that DFN? That's just templates. You know, you can set up templates, trading view premium. You can put like this here. There's a fix in a circle, watermark, and so on. You will trade New York. We are already in New York. I'm not going to trade New York. I traded the dead zone today, which already headed my TP. So I just took a long today on GU right before the call. I entered, I was here because we grabbed this liquidity on GU here, and then I went long into it. That was just a quick long now. Just wanted to go for some profits for the day to accomplish them, and that's when I hit it. It was not a high risk setup. You see, also here right now, GU, if I look at it, it did not took the full low, we just took this form of liquidity, and that's enough to use this liquidity, and then for price to come up higher. Yeah, let's maybe just have a quick outlook for New York. Not too sure if I'm honest what will happen. Like I said, I'm not a fan of New York in general. Maybe we'll push up higher because you feel like here, you see here the wick imbalance as well. Normally now price should go up higher, should come till this imbalance. From my point of view, we should take out everything because now you see that's interesting thing right now, and that's why today trading the New York session is not bad, because the Asia high more than likely will go. From my point of view, if this is right now enough, that's it balanced the 4 hour, it should like take it out, then potentially going short. So will make sense. Okay, great guys. Well, that's it. Thank you guys, you're all welcome, and see you then on Thursday again around 11:30. We'll announce it in the Discord, and let's smash it then tomorrow. Okay, like I said, today New York, I would say it's a cool New York session to trade. Have the Asia session high in your mind, and that's it. Darius, thank you, bro. Thank you. So bye guys.